This mouth-watering cut of beef is known as the tenderloin. It runs along the spine, beneath the ribs, and next to the backbone. We're starting off by wiping down the package with a warm soapy towel to clean off any of that surface gunk, and then we're going to carefully cut into the package, removing the tenderloin and discarding the wrapping. Pat the meat dry to remove any excess juices, making it easier to work with. Along the edge of the tenderloin, there is a piece of meat called the chain, a sinewy strap loaded with connective tissue. It's often used for grounding beef or other purposes. Most of it can be pulled off by hand, but if needed, use a knife to help. Now let's clean up this cut by removing as much of the silver skin as possible. Think of it like beef bubblegum. Super chewy, and it's not something that you want in your final dish. To remove it, slide the tip of your knife under the silver skin, staying as close to it as possible, and then grip and carefully slice away, piece by piece. We're also trimming more of the chain and the head of the tenderloin to get this cut ready. Once it's all cleaned up, you'll see that we have three main parts: the chain, the tenderloin, and the head roast. The main tenderloin has the tips on each end and the prized center cut known as the Chateaubriand, which is perfect for filet mignon or a beef Wellington.
Look at it, it's beautiful.
Now it's time to cut our steaks. You can slice them as thick as you like. I'm aiming for that 1.5 to 2 inch range for perfectly juicy steaks. After cutting, we'll shape the steaks to make sure that they're nice and uniform. We'll also turn some extra pieces into medallions and slice the roast into fillets. With our steaks ready, let's talk seasoning. Today, I'm using a garlic jalapeno rubbed pack with flavor, but the real star is MSG. It just adds a little bit of extra flavor into it. It enhances it without adding too much of that saltness. After seasoning, set the steaks aside while we work on our side dish, potatoes au gratin. For this, shred a potato per person into a bowl, and then we're going to add some water to rinse off some of that starch. Then drain and squeeze out as much moisture as you can. Toss the shredded potatoes into a cast iron skillet, add 2.5 cups of heavy cream, a generous helping of your favorite cheese, and seasoning. Stir it all up until everything's combined, and look at all of this cheesy goodness. Go ahead and pop it into a preheated oven at 400 degrees, and we're going to cook for 45 minutes. Halfway through, we're going to get our pan nice and ready for searing our steaks. Heat up some avocado oil until it's shimmering, and then lay our steaks in, placing them away from you to avoid any splashing. Sear for 3 to 4 minutes for a perfect crust, and then flip. After that, we're going to add some butter, garlic, and thyme. And I want you to listen to this thyme as we add it to the butter. Just the crackling of each little flower on the end, just pop, 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 popping. This means that we're gonna have one of the best steaks you've ever had. Now it's time to baste. Basting is whenever you take any of the cooking liquid and you kind of throw it over your steaks to add some of that juiciness. In this case, from our butter, we're gonna add a little bit of that buttery flavor along with the garlic and the thyme, and it's just gonna make an absolutely perfect steak. The steaks are done when they reach an internal temperature of 125. We're gonna go ahead and let them rest while we check on our potatoes. And look at this, they're so creamy and cheesy. Once the steaks have rested, let's slice into them and see how we did. Perfectly cooked, medium rare. Now to plate, we're gonna spoon 2 scoops of those cheesy potatoes on a plate and then line up our steaks on top. Drizzle some of that garlic thyme butter that we had from our steaks in the basting process over top of them, and then there you have it, a delicious filet with creamy potatoes au gratin. Let's dig in. Now, this was so tasty that I couldn't help but to bust a move. The potatoes were rich and they paired perfectly with the leanness of the filet. Wifey tried it too and she loved it. She even joined in on the dance party. She rated the steak a 9 out of 10 and the potatoes a 10 out of 10. Now there may be some sort of bias being her husband and all, but I can assure you that this food was absolutely delicious and that she really did love it.
Stop the cap. Stop the cap right now. Stop the cap.
Even my mother-in-law gave it a solid 8 out of 10 across the board. Now for Big Papa, he was so deep in Flavortown he didn't even know where to look. Now this steak was absolutely amazing and I definitely recommend that you do try this at home. Guys, if you have any requests at all, please leave them down in the comment section. I would love to fulfill any requests that I get, teach you guys as much as I can. And if you liked the video that you saw today, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel. And also don't forget to get that bell notification on so that way you can be notified anytime I drop a video. But until then guys, I will see you in the next one.